Alright, world of YouTube, Archie here with the, gotta go over the mapping of this Deborah and Quimby story, because what has happened today is taken a turn, and a twist and turn that is just, makes more sense than what I read. Now, like I say to people, these are my thoughts and theories. I know I had a lot of people telling me that you got this wrong, you got that wrong, you got her age wrong, you got da. You know what? I take what I find off the internet, and I can tell you and show you right now that stuff that I originally read in this article literally had changed, because there was a word in the original article that described a hill that takes like a right turn. I looked it up in the dictionary and everything. And whatever that word is in the definition of it is meaning to take a right turn down a hill on the right side of the road type thing to make it all make sense and clear. But the definition said it in other words, and I assumed it came from back like the 1950s. So, I mean, whatever happened to that original article, I do not know. Now, there's people that have commented me and telling me that she was not pregnant or this didn't happen. That you got the age wrong, like I said. But I'm going over from what the story says. And the story is that I read originally that Deborah and Quimby lived on School Street somewhere where I forget. I think I had the address, the exact address too. But she wanted to go to her grandparents' house one day, and I think she left a note on the table for her parents that she was heading to the grandparents, the camp that's off Fitchburg Road, mind you, that I have in my original video of that. And I believe it's not a house off to the lake area. It is now a blocked off road with a huge grass area opening. And I believe that's where they were camped. But it gets bizarre here where she meets up with a friend on Turnpike Road. So as you can see, she would take School Street, fork in the road, head over here, Turnpike Road. And it was somewhere in here, or maybe a little bit after, because where I found this turn in the road was more like, I would want to say down here, because it like looped around and it took a turn. I think it might have been in here. Now the crazy thing about this story is that the original story claims that her body was found in this pond right here. I mean, I did a video for this. I mean, in the video I stopped here and I started at the school parking lot back here where I drove. I started here, and when I began my little journey here, I stopped here to show the pond. And they say they drained it. They found a bike, but it wasn't hers. And she also supposedly was to meet another friend, which in the original article, mind you, was a boy. But this friend she met on this road was a girl. So, as she departed from this girl, like I said, somewhere in here, or maybe even a little way down. But this is what I say in my other video too. As you can see, there's all kinds of ponds and swamp areas throughout these roads. I mean, the person could even dump their body out over in this area. I think there's a thing. I think this might have been like a pond, but it's dried up or something. Or was that down here? All I know is that this person who murdered her, you know, whether it was the boy. Now, this is what I said in my original video. I was thinking maybe this boy she was going to meet and she left a note and all that. But the boy I thought was going to be probably the one that she was going to tell that was pregnant by. But with all these other comments that come in and say I got my story wrong, like I said, I don't write these things. I just take in content what I read and bring it out and try to, patch out a timeline. And, I mean, I get it. If I get something wrong, the age, blah, 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 get real. I'm telling you. I know what I read. I know what I saw. And what makes this story now more bizarre and more insane, I literally got a comment the other day that I mentioned in my other video today that someone said they don't know why they looked or even said that she was in a pond. She was traveling on the railroad tracks and was near the bridge. Now, today I'm riding down this road and I found the railroad tracks, which I did not see before because when I did this, mind you, it was during the summertime, maybe even beginning of fall. So all the trees were grown in. And I got a literally shot today of it bare. And it's right along. Where is it? Now if you come down here, you have this cemetery. And today I stopped over right here. And literally, this person was right. Which sends chills up my spines of why this person would say this. They should have checked the river. She was crossing the railroad tracks. So, that's right, I got my old phone out. The little video is right. And what I found, though, that is very strange. And I don't understand this. Now, before I go any further with these train tracks, I got to show you the path and route that I took in the other video. And to show you what I thought happened. My thoughts, my theories. Not what everybody whatever everybody else knows. This is what I thought and what I read. And I get my own conclusions, like I say. I like to keep saying this because in case someone says something and you don't know what you're talking about. Because I'm not doing this for the fact that I know or I think I know. I'm doing this because I'm giving options out there. I'm giving people a chance to think of other options. Because obviously the police did not fully do investigations. And when you have ponds and swamps and rivers all around this area, and all they do is look at one pond right there and nothing else, not even the river like this person said, someone wasn't doing a good job back then. Alright? Think about it. You gotta stop, you gotta think, you gotta put yourself in someone else's damn shoes like a detective. And I mean a good detective. I mean, I ain't got all the answers either. And I'm probably, I'll probably be running around with my head chopped off too like this. And checking every inch and source, I don't have the time. But if I did, I would. That's why I like doing these videos, to give people an idea and a sighting of what could have happened. So, I mean, as we go on to the story where I said she left this girl somewhere in here. It's Turnpike Road. She was supposed to be heading to her grandparents from in here to her grandparents. Now, I'm going to show you again. You come down here. She would have taken this road, cut here, and it was off of Fitchburg Road, mind you. So Fitchburg Road starts here. I mean, she could have took West Elm and cut over to whatever. Voop, voop. Come up here. And where is it? Right here. Bang. She got to turn on this road. Oh, no. Where the hell is that road? Damn it. Oh, yeah. Vernon. There it is. I got to check something. Wait a minute. Where is it? This is it. Vinton Pond Road. Yes. Now, like I said, here you go. A little quicken again. She could have cut over there, got on the Fitchburg Road, zip, zip. Somewhere in here that she got lost. Now, there are a lot of houses on this road and a lot of traffic, even though it's a back road. But Vinton Pond Road, boof, right here. Right here, I would have thought the camp was, but it ain't. See this little road right here? This is the one that's blocked off now and is all open. And all these are houses. And they say she went to a camp. That's why I'm thinking that maybe, just maybe, campground, the grandparents maybe had a camper off over here in the distance. And over here, these are houses. Now, whether or not her grandparents own one of these houses and why they call it a camp is beyond me. But all I can say is I drove up here and boof, right in here. Like I said, it's open now. Even more open, and you see the inside of it. Look like, yeah, they would have campers there. Maybe tents. And this is supposed to be where she was heading. But all in the mix of that, she never made it there, of course. And this is very, very scary to think. And in a ways, I'm kind of glad this person wrote to me. And that's what I like about doing these videos. You never know who's going to pop up out of nowhere and give you some info. Now, if these were good detectives back in the day, and this all came into my head, and the person said, yeah, I don't know why they didn't search this area. And you want to know why? And I don't know why either, but for them not to search this area, because if you do travel this road, I mean, there is houses, but there's more woods, and it is more secluded. So, if you're long enough out here, rather riding a bike, or if you have to happen to stop, maybe she did and started walking with it. You know, someone has enough time to pull up, you know, start a conversation, get her to come closer to the car and grab her and just, hell, rip her freaking hair out, pull her in, bash her out, do whatever they gotta do, whatever the sick son of a SOB does. Sometimes, and this is what I say, you know what? Sometimes it's sick to say, but you gotta think about it. If you gotta be a good detective, sometimes this is gotta be necessary. If you're not gonna find your kill, look at Jack the Ripper. Look at Jack the Ripper. And how long it took to find that man. Because he written stuff and stupid stuff he left behind of clues. But it took him a long time. And there's still the 1973 serial killer that's never been caught. And I'm calling him a serial killer because on Intervale Road, Townsend, and another murder on Lunenburg Street, and two murders in Lunenburg Street, another one here, and I think there was another somewhere else, all in 1973. And that was also the time the Lady of the Sand Dune, mind you, was there. That happened in 73, and they all said it was Whitey Bulger. Well, how about the copycatters out there? Like, you know who else was a serial killer but was giving out information of what I think, and I have all this up too. The Boston Strangler died in prison November 1973. But yet, there's proof that man, all right, some of the murders he did not do. And the murders around here that happened, that were found and documented in 73, they were strangled and raped. Same thing, strangled and raped. Just what the Boston Strangler did. And he left a poem just before he died. With I am in jail, or something. And without no doubt, am I really in here or am I out? Something in them terms. And they were still killings going on when he was in jail. They didn't stop. And I think they entered in this Townsend. I think they entered in, in the Fitchburg area. Unless there was a copycat, there was someone else there rather than the Boston Strangler. And there's proven fact on that because of the simple fact that they found DNA that was not his on some of the other crime scenes. Look it up. So that's my conclusion. My talking about here in 1977, and they never caught that guy. So who's roaming around doing this? Who's roaming around? You got to get these thoughts, these theories. You always got to put into a perspective, and you can't disclose anything. And for someone to be a good detective, in my eyes, you got to keep thinking and keep rambling through your brain. I mean, hey, sometimes it happens. Cops lose their minds because they, can't crack a case. Or sometimes they lose their mind because they're on the trail, but yet, they just can't take it no more because all the dead bodies and the sights and the bee. And that's what I say. And if you want to be good, you got to think like a killer. It's sick to say, but if you want to catch a killer, you got to think like a killer. That's what I think. You can't disclose nothing. You can't misplay. And there's been evidence on cases that I've looked into, especially the Taj Narbonne. That shit's been thrown away. Oh, we can't use that. It's discarded. You know what? Get out of here. And that's what probably happened in this case. But let's get into this before my phone time runs out. Here we have, I told you, the railroad tracks. Right here, this little line here, them are the railroad tracks. And as you can see, here's the river, and there's the bridge. Now I'm going to get out here, and I got to check on this, boy. I got to get a video out there, boy, but there it is. There's the bridge. This person said they should have looked in the river. They should have, you know what? The boy in 1985 on the Lake Leominster video I have up, there was a woman that used to always canoe the Nashua River. And she was actually, I found my other piece of the article, and she was in the boat with the guy and told him the story of her finding the dead body hanging from the trees. That boy went missing. Now, who knows who killed him? He went sledding one day and he ended up in the Nashua River. It's like, what the hell? So what really happened to Deborah Ann Quimby? Was it the boy that she went to go meet? Because you know what? This is why I'm saying this. Because these railroad tracks do not go across. It goes over here in the woods somewhere. And I think this is one of the railroad tracks I found in one of my other videos that I've been trying to find out. And this is a New Hampshire line that came through. I think this is the one that I have on one of my old map videos that I show that come right into Townsend. And the reason why you can't find railroad tracks in Massachusetts, like old ones sometimes, is because you got to look up in New Hampshire, because they run from New Hampshire into Mass. And if you don't look up New Hampshire tracks to find it, you won't find it in Mass. You'll find them, when you look up New Hampshire. So crazy stuff. Now if she wanted to cut over and do a shortcut this way, it ain't happening, because she goes over the bridge and it cuts off somewhere in here. I don't know where it goes run along, but here's the road again. There's West Elm. So for her to go that way for a shortcut, which is the bridge over here. Yep, right there. See that? There would be she would go over there and cut through the woods and then go down? No. Somewhere, I believe, and this is my thoughts and theories, someone was in here waiting, or someone caught up to her somewhere in back here, lured her in here, killed her, threw her in that river maybe, whatever the case may be. That's what I think happened to Deborah Ann Quimby now that this thing came up, and that makes more sense. And that makes more sense than the other story that I said. Because, yeah, she could come down here. But if someone was following that day and someone was right in here, like I said, it's all woods. I mean, you got a little house here, but who knows what was here in 1977. You know what, all this stuff right here, all these houses right here, them probably weren't even there in 1977. So I think if someone can come in this way, someone can come in that way. Boof. Who got her is the question now. Right here, get her in there. All these houses, I don't know even if they were there in 1977. The cemetery was there. That damn thing's old. Railroad tracks, like I said, right there. Hell, someone could even lured her in here and talk to her and banged her out, dragged her down there, threw her in the river. So I think that person, I don't know though, that person is very strangely just pops up like that. It's bizarre, it's crazy. But hey, it's something to think about, huh? You don't know what the hell's out there, and you don't know what's gonna get you. That's the scary thing about it. Gives you goosebumps on the back of your neck just to think. Someone was following her. It could have been that 1973 serial killer, or maybe the boy that supposedly knocked her up. Whatever the case may be, someone was roaming that day. And boy, it's just sad to say. And there's a lot of missing kids throughout the years. It's going on since the dawn of time. The first documented boy in the box. Thrown on the side of the road in a box, Come on. It's sick. Just to think how many more kids are out there and how many more wooded areas like this is just beyond crazy. Lies many, many graves. Unmarked. Never noticed. Never known. Just out there. And oh man, you're just thinking about what could have went through her mind, her last breath. It's nuts. But like I said, what were the police really doing back then? Why didn't they look into this? Why didn't they look into nothing? Just one lake? One pond, I mean? One pond, right over here. One pond. That's what they say in the original article, right there. And this, mind you, I believe, is where they found the 1973 teacher murder. Look it up, because they have the same little sand dune right here, like this, right here. It looks like they're dragging that Camaro right out of there. Someone took a picture. So someone had some. Now see, that's why I say maybe it was the same killer, because if he has this comfort around this pond, which I don't think none of this stuff was here at that time, maybe. This could have been, and it was supposed to be a landfill, a dump or something. I don't know how though, because it was a friggin', there ain't nothing, buried there unless they used to back trucks in and take the trash out. Because it ain't capped off. So whatever was there, and it said a dump or something, I don't know. And then of course that original damn article's gone. Don't know where it is. It comes up something different. And everything that I seen in the original, like that curve in the road, that definition for that one word. And at the time I wasn't taking screenshots because I didn't know how. And believe me, if I could have, I would have, or I should have written it down. But I didn't think it was going to be such a big part in my story, because, or knowing that this damn thing would have been missing. I mean, it would have been better, for if I would have had the screenshots. Because then I wouldn't have lost all this information in this beginning damn thing. It pisses me off. And there's been a lot of that going on when I start looking into things and bringing things live like this. I notice things disappearing. So either that means that someone is trying to cover up evidence, or someone is watching the videos that are made, or stuff that comes up new and gets in there and they got delete. There's something crazy going on. Conspiracy theory. Call me crazy, but there's a lot of things people got to think and think before you go and throw things away like the police did on this case. So I don't know. Just insane to think about it. You go to sleep tonight, think about it. What really went on this road that day? Could her body still be in that river somewhere? I don't know. I'm gonna find out though. Gonna find out, because if that boy in 1985 was found dangling off a tree, I can just damn imagine what's roaming around in this river. Because look at this nice sharp corner. You can't disclose anything going down that river and maybe catching on something, broken logs, broken trees, whatever. Crazy thoughts, but you gotta think. You gotta think of every little piece of evidence to bring something forth. And the police didn't do it back then, so who knows? Maybe I'll crack something. I don't know. Hopefully I'd lodge some memory if there is some surviving people back in that day. Which there is, because they do comment on my pages about this, but whatever I did wrong, it ain't my fault. I tell them all the time, because what I read is what I read, and I bring it out. And that was the original story. Now everything's different now with this because of that train track. And this one goes up to New Hampshire that way, so who knows? Who knows? But other than that, YouTube Nation, a lot of mysteries out there to be solved, and that's what I'm trying to do with these videos. Break my threshold and break some mysteries and solve them. That's what I love to do. Other than that, world of YouTube, be safe, take care, because you don't know what's out there hunting, or even watching you. I keep my eyes open in the back of my head all the time. You never know who's going to come up and whack you out, drag you away, chop you up, eat you, kill you, cut your throat, blah, 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 blah. It's nuts. Sometimes you got to think like that. Sometimes it's sick. I know it's scary, but you got to think of every little alternative in the world to stay alive, because stories like this, they can make it all right. What's the phone going to do? What does it do? What does it do? That's right. Disappear. Whoops. Disappear. That's right.